Good morning, Professor, and the rest of the class. Hope you guys are having a great week. Today, I'll be going over my implementation plan, more specifically, part two, the Idealist. And so, what would my 21st century classroom look like, right, in an ideal world? Would I not have to worry about technical issues or an unsupportive administration? Well, one, it would look like the incorporation of technology that helps facilitate the learning process and further supports all students. And so, going beyond, right, incorporating technology for the means of engagement, right, which many of us use. I use music within my physical education classes, but the incorporation of technology that helps facilitate the learning process, I think, is a critical component of that, as well as ways that we can further support all students. And so, one of the things I'm looking forward to doing, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit afraid of implementing, is the use of the fitness apps with my students at the new school that I got hired to. So we did a little bit of this at Valhalla High School through my student teaching, but this is something that I will be doing for the first time by myself. So what students will do is they'll choose from a list of fitness apps, right? So they have the autonomy to decide what they want to use as their fitness app, what works best for them. And I found that most students all choose different things because certain apps they like and certain apps they don't. So it depends on preference. The second, the app will track their mile times, their pace, and their distance traveled. And what's going to happen is once they've done that, they're going to log in their information into this chart, right? Where their time, their distance, their laps, and their pace. What will happen is then it will then be converted into a visual representation, into graphs where they can see visually, right, how they're doing as the semester goes by. So what they can do with this fitness app, and I think it's critical, is one, students can track their progress. I think students need to be able to see success in what they're doing so they can continue on with that progress. Second point, students can get a visual representation, as you can see, of their progress. So beyond looking at numbers, they have a visual representation of the progress that they're making throughout the semester and throughout the year. And then this also allows students to reflect on their progress and assign new goals to achieve and see if they're meeting those goals. So this form of technology, I think, is imperative and it's critical. I found it to be highly successful, but to be able to do it on my own in a new environment with a new administration and a new staff is going to be a challenge for me, but it's a challenge that I'm looking forward to taking on. And so the second thing that my classroom would look like is students analyzing their movement, right? Movement analysis. And one way I can do that is the incorporation of Goose Chase, right? The app, where students go on a mission and they videotape themselves executing a particular skill, whether that be kicking a soccer ball or shooting a three-point shot. They will videotape themselves doing that. I or fellow students can provide constructive feedback based on the video that we're analyzing, and then students can make corrections and submit their final skill that they're presenting to me or to the class. And so what this does is, one, it provides an opportunity for students to see themselves doing the particular skill, right, which most often students aren't able to do. And so students can see them do the skill, cross-analyze what they're doing correctly and what they're doing incorrectly, and make those corrections. And so I think that's critical, and it's actually setting them up, right, for the college world if they want to get into the world of exercise physiology or exercise science, such as where I got my bachelor's in. So it's setting them up to understand what movement analysis is and how it takes place. And so what role will technology play in my class? Well, one, I wanted to be able to track fitness, nutritional, and academic data to help students see the connection between the three. So I think it's critical for students to see the connection between fitness, nutrition, and the academic data, right? Looking at data and applying it to the real life. Data can help students see the patterns between their physical health and academics and give students the evidence they need. Data can help students see the patterns between their physical health and academics and give students the evidence they need to make better choices about their diets and their physical activity while they're still young. And I think it's critical, right, getting these students this information and teaching them to how to look through the data and how it applies to their life, and getting to them early. During my time working in cardiac rehab, is that we're getting to them too late, right? They're not able to understand the data at 60, 70, 80 years old. So we need to be able to allow them to understand, right, what works, what doesn't work, and what the data is telling them based on the results that they're getting back. And so I think this is the way technology will be incorporated in my class, not just for the fun, right, and for the engagement, but for to help students fully support them in the learning process, right, when it comes to physical education. So I want to thank you guys so much. And lastly here is physical education teachers want real data about where kids are and where they're going. So students need to be able to understand fully where they're at, right, and the improvements that need to be made to get to where they're going. And I think it's a critical component of that, because if they don't know where they're at, then they don't know where they're going. And that not only falls with our students, but us ourselves. We need to know what works and what doesn't work, so we know what we can implement in the class to fully support our students. And so thank you so much, Professor, and the rest of the class. I hope you guys have an outstanding week. Take care.